thought she might be the one, but when he told her about the casket and how he wanted her to sleep in one too if they get married, she disappeared. She couldn't imagine sleeping in a casket every night, and if she loves Amansi. One sunny day, something happened that would change Amansi's life forever.
I see you, my heart they beats. A lady of all men's dreams. You be the one.
Hello guys, this tale is not just a tale. It's a real life story. Meet Amansi, the man who found safety in the most unusual place, a casket. Before we dive into this story, please consider subscribing to the channel. We'll bring real drama and possible solutions to you. Now, let's get into it. Amansi was not an ordinary man. He was a millionaire from Tanzania, a businessman with many shops and companies. Most of his money was not made by himself. It was given to him by his family, who were also very rich. But Amansi had a secret that made people think he was very strange. Every night, when the moon climbed high in the sky and the streets became quiet, Amansi would go to his bedroom, but instead of a soft, cozy bed like most people have, Amansi had a casket. Yes, a casket like the ones you see in scary movies or at funerals. And Amansi would sleep in it just like it was a normal bed. He had been doing this for 15 years. Can you believe it? For Amansi, the casket was not just a bed. He believed it protected him from something that everyone, everywhere is afraid of: death. Amansi thought that if death came looking for him, it would see the casket and say, "Oh, Amansi is already gone. I don't need to visit him tonight." And so death will pass by, leaving Amansi safe and sound. During the day, Amansi was like any other person. He would wake up, get out of his casket, and go to work. He would talk to people, laugh, and make sure his businesses were doing well. But when the sun set, he returned to his big, lonely house, walking past the many empty rooms, and climbed into his casket to sleep. People started to talk. They whispered that Amansi was not normal, that maybe he did strange magic or even talked to evil spirits. They didn't understand why someone would choose to sleep in a casket if they weren't doing something wrong. Because of these whispers, Amansi's family and friends stayed away from him. They were scared and confused by his choice, but Amansi said that there was nothing bad about what he was doing. He even claimed that his casket had special powers to heal sick people. They would come to him tired and ill, and he would let them sleep in the casket. By morning, they would feel better, as if the casket has taken away their sickness. The only person who wasn't afraid of Amansi was his maid. She took care of his big house, cooked for him, and cleaned everything, even the casket. Every morning, she would knock on the casket, and Amansi would open it to start the day. She didn't think Amansi was doing anything wrong. She just saw a man with a strange habit. Amansi also had a walking stick, a gift from the elders of his family. He believed it was filled with spiritual powers and that it helped him make more money. But nobody knew exactly how it worked, not even Amansi himself. The biggest problem Amansi faced was not what people thought of him or his casket. It was loneliness. He wanted to find someone to love, someone who would be his partner in life. But every time he met a woman and told her about his casket, she would run away scared. One day, Amansi met a woman who laughed with him and seemed to like him a lot. He thought she might be the one. But when he told her about the casket and how he wanted her to sleep in one too if they get married. She disappeared. She couldn't imagine sleeping in a casket every night, and if she loves Amansi. One sunny day, something happened that would change Amansi's life forever. A little girl named Tisa moved into the house next door. Tisa heard the story about Amansi, how he slept in a casket and was very rich. But unlike the adults, Tisa wasn't scared or suspicious. She was just curious. So one day, she decided to visit Amansi's house. She knocked on the big wooden door and Amansi answered. He was surprised to see such a young visitor, but Tisa wasn't shy. She said, "Hello, Mr. Amansi. I am Tisa. I live next door. I heard you have a casket bed. Can I see it?" Amansi didn't know what to say. No one had ever asked to see his casket before, especially not in such a friendly way. He smiled and let Tisa in. He showed her the casket and Tisa looked at it with wide eyes. "It's just like a bird," she said, "but it looks like the ones for pirate treasures." Amansi laughed. It was the first time in many years that he had laughed so freely. Tisa's innocence and bravery made him feel happy. She wasn't afraid of him or the casket. She just saw them as they were, nothing more, nothing less. Tisa asked Amansi, "Why do you sleep in the casket?" "Mr. Amansi, aren't you scared?" Amansi thought for a moment and then said, "Tisa, I sleep in the casket because it makes me feel safe. But I've learned something from you. Being brave doesn't mean you are not scared. It means don't let the fear stop you from living. And you, Tisa, you are the bravest person I know." Tisa smiled and took Amansi's hand. "Maybe one day you won't need to sleep with caskets to feel safe anymore," she said. Amansi nodded. "Maybe one day," he agreed. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Amansi and Tisa became the best of friends. Tisa's visits were the highlights of Amansi's days, but there was still something missing in Amansi's life, a life partner to share his heart with. One afternoon, while Amansi was sitting in the park, he saw a woman sitting alone on a bench. She was reading a book and smiling to herself. Amansi felt a tug in his heart. He wanted to talk to her, but he was afraid. What if she ran away like the others? When she learned about his casket, Tisa, who was playing nearby, noticed Amansi looking at the woman. Being the brave little girl she was, Tisa marched over to the woman and said, "Hello, my friend Amansi wants to meet you, but he's a bit shy." The woman looked up, surprised, and then laughed. "Well, I can't say no to such a brave messenger. Lead the way," she said. Tisa took the woman's hand and brought her over to Amansi. "Amansi, this is Lina. Lina, this is Amansi." Tisa introduced them. Amansi and Lina started talking, and soon they found that they had a lot in common. They both loved books, enjoyed walk in the parks, and had a fondness of ice cream. As they talked, Amansi felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Weeks passed, and Amansi and Lina grew closer. They would meet in the park, go for walks, and share stories. Amansi wanted to tell Lina about his casket, but he was scared. He didn't want to lose her. Finally, one day, Amansi decided it was time. He invited Lina to his house for dinner. After they ate, Amansi took a deep breath and said, "Lina, there is something I need to show you." He led her to his bedroom and showed her the casket. Lina looked at it, then at Amansi, and she said, Is this where you sleep? Amansi nodded. Yes, it's my bed. I know it's strange, but it makes me feel safe. Lina sat down next to the casket and took Amansi's hand. Amansi, I like you for who you are, not for where you sleep. If this casket makes you feel safe, then I am glad you have it. Amansi couldn't believe it. Lina didn't run away. She accepted him and his casket. From that day on, Amansi knew he had found someone special. As time went by, Amansi and Lina grew closer. They shared many happy moments, and Lina even started to spend nights at Amansi's big house. But she didn't sleep in the casket. She slept in a guest room with a big fluffy bed. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, Lina asked Amansi, "Do you think you will ever sleep in a regular bed like everyone else?" Amansi looked thoughtful. "I don't know," he said. "The casket has been my safe place for so long, but with you here, I feel safe in a different way." Lina smiled. "I'm glad I make you feel safe. Maybe one day we can find a bed that makes you feel just as safe as the casket does." Amansi nodded. "Maybe one day," he repeated, just like he said to Tisa. Weeks turned into months, and Amansi started to think what Lina had said. He realized that he didn't feel as scared as he used to. With Lina's love and Tisa's friendship, he felt braver and happier. So, one sunny morning, Amansi made a big decision. He told Lina, "I am ready to try sleeping in a regular bed." Lina was overjoyed. Together, they went to the store and picked out the perfect bed, one that was big and comfortable, with a beautiful wooden frame. That night, Amansi slept in his new bed for the first time. It felt strange at first, but Lina was right there beside him, holding his hand, and guess what? He slept soundly throughout the night. From then on, Amansi slept in his new bed every night. The casket was still in his room, but it was no longer his bed. It became a symbol of old fears he had overcome. And remember, everyone has their own way of feeling safe. What's important is finding the courage to embrace change and let love in. So Amansi remained married to Lina, with not just his wife, but also his maid and his casket for company. Till date, Amansi had no children yet. Some people on the internet said he was lying when he said it was just a means of safety for him. Many feel there is more to it, that there must be a darker reason for his casket. Others believed him and thought he was just a man who felt safe in a strange way. What do you think? Is Amansi hiding something, or is he just living his truth? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification button, so whenever there is a new video, you will be the first to get notified. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.